Welcome back. It's Dee Tozer here, the Couples Master Coach, with the next episode on our Daily Couples HQ podcast. Thank you for watching. Today I want to talk about the very almost not noticed chain reaction that happens with a couple. So a chain reaction is anything we've heard about in science, whatever we've studied. There's emotional chain reactions, there are physical chain reactions. It's very well known. And it's about something happens and there's a reaction, and then there could be a good positive outcome, but in the usual form that people are talking about chain reactions, and in me talking about it here, I'm talking about the negative chain reaction. So with a couple, we have 4 things that cause a reaction. We have what we say and what we don't say. We can see how we get a reaction to either one of those, and I'll explain more in a moment. And then we've got what we do and what we don't do. So any 1 or 4 of those, or 3 or 2, anywhere in there, can bring a reaction that's negative, that has consequences. And the consequences can be repercussions. A repercussion means a consequence keeps on happening. That means somebody's gone offside from you and they can't come back in closer. They just can't let themselves. It carries on, the reverberation. And then until we build enough reactions and consequences, the repercussions seem insurmountable, because we get this huge amount of emotional resentment, which I call emotional quicksand, or in my terms again, grudge sludge. I'll come back there in a moment. So what are the 4 things that we get the relationship chain reaction happening with and keeps on perpetuating it? Well, it's what we say, what we don't say first. So what we say is obvious. We know pretty well if we say things that are not going down well, that are not likable from the other day's podcast, that don't set a nice tone for you. We know that, but we'll still tend to say them often for feelings of we weren't heard, no one's listening, I don't matter, or nothing changed. So repeat it again. So there's what we say, then there's what we don't say. And what we don't say can be the obvious. We hold back because it's easier to be quiet, even withdraw, and don't say what we're believing or think, because we feel like we can't express it in an environment that's welcoming. So that withdrawal is noticed and not liked usually. Or it can be also we don't say something that's a better way, choose better words. We don't say something that is helpful, kind. So what we say and what we don't say is very important to the chain reaction, because there's going to be a reaction by the other partner to one or other, or a mix of them. Then we've got what we do and what we don't do. Well, the obvious thing is usually in a couple is more focus on what you don't do, on what one partner isn't doing, not helping enough, not this, not that, not the other. Okay, that's the things that bring up what we say is criticisms. What we do also comes up, and sometimes it can be just as important to one partner, but what the other one does they don't like. So they're picking up though and disapproving of what they don't like. They disapprove of something that's the way something's being done, or the fact it's not being done. So it's a whole disapproval thing. You can see that chain reaction. Because it's what you say, disapproval, don't like hearing that. What you don't say, disapproval, don't like that you didn't come up with something better or you went quiet. What you did, don't like it being done that way or being done at all. What you didn't do, well, didn't carry the household workload role or show affection enough or any action. So we have the consequences. And the consequences could be just one consequence at the time in a small mini interaction, or it can be a much bigger consequence, which multiple consequences, because of the whole concept of likability or lovability. If there's a reaction coming from any of those 4 or a combination of regularly, frequently, likability, being offside is high probability, likability is a low probability. The likability dwindles away. Sense of lovability and closeness, close togetherness dwindles away. And we get repercussions, the reverberating, which is pull away, shutdowns, disconnect, or roar up, flare up in high conflict, and then maybe slow down, pull away. But whatever it is, it's not nurturing on side. It is keeping a couple stuck in offside, keeping them stuck in unlikable, and then potentially unlovable. You get stuck there because of the chain reaction, which has to be broken. And the chain reaction builds, as I said, grudge sludge. Now I'm talking about a form of quicksand. I call it emotional quicksand because it's a bit like physical quicksand. An animal, a human, animals, many can't get out of it if not helped. Well, it's the same with emotional quicksand. We can't pull ourselves out of it. The other person's warm, lovingness, kind, caring behaviour is what lifts us out of that resentment. And then that can keep us safe and out of it and in a loving, on-side relationship. The chain reactions, the beginning of understanding how those repercussions come that we get that, and then it's about intercepting yourself, not the other person to stop them. You each have to intercept, alter yourself to be on side and work out how you can encourage and nurture. We're going to that in another podcast in a couple of days, and nurture the loving kindness together, or loving togetherness, either way you look at it. That's what it's boiling down to. Again, we take the disapproval, criticism, reactivity out. We remove it. And it's up to each of us to do that. So that's where I'm winding up today. Look forward to you joining the next podcast tomorrow. And I hope that one has resonated for you. Dee Tozer, signing off for now.